Oh wow, you play beautifully. Really? Thanks. Aww, this is a real meet cute moment. Look at her smile, the glow. It's like a 400-year-old rom-com.
Yoo-hoo!
Who's she? Wait a minute. Oh, it's like that. She's the procuress. Or perhaps you're more familiar with the madam. She's here because, well, it's her job, and she's got to handle the transaction part of this meeting. The smile reads a little differently now, huh?
Bye!
But that was just the beginning. Are you seeing this? There are so many paintings with the same setup. A cute young woman, a man who's a little drunk, and always hovering and watching is the old woman, the procuress. Sometimes there are extra people, but there's almost always wine, music, and you guessed it, a total loss of control. And apparently, this is a whole genre. The Dutch even have a name for it. Bordeeltjes, literally little brothel scenes, were a popular subject in the Dutch Republic in the 17th century. They weren't just meant to entertain. The scenes came out of earlier moral stories like the prodigal son, warning about excess, indulgence, and bad decisions. But over time, the story faded into the background, and the setting became the subject. And curiously enough, the Dutch have another type of painting that looks very similar. Right? But it went by a different name, Merry Company. And for the most part, it really does look like that. People being merry and having a good old time. But look a little closer. Gone is the procuress, and in her place is the maid? She pours wine, she brings food, and sometimes she looks like the Grinch. Seriously, Flemish artists, they painted the best faces. Sorry to digress, back to my point. And sometimes, while you're busy being merry, the helpful maid even babysits. And these artists were pretty clever. Want to see what they were sneaking in? Take a look at the baby's nose. It matches his. So now we know who the father is. And who is he? If you look around the table, you see a globe, some books, everything that says, this man, he's supposed to be studying. But we can all see that that's not happening here. Even the open book shows wisdom fending off wine and desire. So you may call them different names, but they're the same scene. Okay, but here's the part that doesn't add up. I'm sure you've seen this painting before. The artist Johannes Vermeer is famous for his quiet Dutch interior scenes. They're calm, reflective, and respectable. But in at least two of his paintings, there's a painting on the wall. A bordeeltjes. Why? Well, this wasn't random. Vermeer's mother-in-law, Maria Thins, actually owned one of these. It hung in the house where Vermeer lived with his family. So yes, he saw it every day. But here's the thing. That wasn't just any painting. people knew exactly what it meant, and he chose to put it there. And once you recognize what that image is, it changes the whole scene. And you're starting to look at them in a different light. And that brings us to a bigger question. Why was someone like his mother-in-law, wealthy, respectable, and deeply religious, have this painting in her home in full view of her family? Just so you know, Vermeer had 11 children. And the fact is, she wasn't the only one. These paintings were everywhere, collected by the Dutch upper middle class and middle class too. Okay, I can see the argument that they appreciated the moral tale embedded into the scene. A quiet warning about losing control and ending up in the wrong situation. But if that was the only point, they wouldn't look like this. This isn't some somber painting. Instead, the lighting is warm, the mood is relaxed, and you're supposed to enjoy it. And if we're being honest, the only person who really feels out of place is the procuress. She's not part of the fun. She's also a little grotesque, and maybe even a bit sinister. But in real life, that wasn't usually the case. Many weren't old at all. Think under 30. And unlike the women they managed, they were often married or living with a partner. But in these paintings, they become something else. A warning built right into the scene. And so once you see that, you realize this is all intentional, with a structure. Like the man who doesn't quite get it, the woman playing along, and the one person who understands exactly what's happening. And then there's you, the viewer. You're not the man, you're not the woman either. And because you're outside of it, you see the setup. Yep, and this is when you go, ha, at least I'm not that guy. And that's the whole point. That's what makes it safe to hang on your wall. You're not part of it, you're above it. And you get to hang it up and maybe have a chuckle at it. Take a look at this painting. This is Vermeer's own version of the Procuress. It looks a little different from his other paintings, right? He painted it early in his career. And this grinning man, he's believed to be Vermeer, who's letting you know that he's not outside the joke anymore. He's part of it. And he knows you're part of it too.